none of this is meant to attack anybody personally. There may be certain times where I indirectly could be referencing somebody, but it's not because I'm trying to give them hell. I'm just trying to make it clear that I think this is kind of weird. Illuvium Arena has the foundation already to be a fantastic game, but there's just straight up features missing in this game that I think could be developed quickly and cost very little. A lot of the things that I'm going to recommend are things that have been done before. Issues that I'm personally having right now with Illuvium, comparing it to other games, is that first and foremost, again, there is still no way to earn Illuvials just through the arena itself. I know there's a big topic and the big vibe around Illuvium is that, well, yeah, because you're supposed to get these Illuvials from the overworld, you're supposed to get these Illuvials from the MMO, and then you bring them into the arena. And I love that as an addition, but I do not wish that to be the core mechanic of the game. If somebody strictly wants to play arena, I do feel like they should be able to get their own creatures just through arena. Brand new when you start off the game, you do get every single alluvial for free, but they're all like technically off chain. Like you can't trade the things, right? But the bigger problem that I personally have is that the alluvials that you get for free never level. And it changes the vibe very, very badly to me. And obviously, you're trying to give advantage to those that actually own their own stuff, and that does need to be a thing. But making it so that you can't level, the vibe of the game itself turns into a yacht club vibe. Oh, you've got free alluvials, then I'm just going to completely destroy you every single game. No, you don't deserve to have a chance in this game. Heck, I don't care if you play the game. You don't have your own alluvials. I don't care about you. Either pay or get the F out. That's the kind of vibe you get with a system like this, and it's kind of disgusting, especially since you can only level up in ranked games, so you're just going to get smashed over and over again with these level ones, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Issue 3, let's say you do go out and buy your alluvials. Sometimes you can't use them anyway. With the way that Gauntlet is structured, of course, we do have the random alluvial pool, and of course, if your alluvials are getting contested, you're never going to see the best part of your team. Like, say, for example, with my squad, a long time ago, I believe it was Squawk hooked me up with my Seaforus. I would be using my Seaforus in every single game if I wanted to. But the problem is if it gets contested at all, or the random RNG just doesn't go my way, because let's be honest, who's rolling for Seaforus other than me and JB at this point? Like, nobody's rolling for Seaforus. But because of the randomness, I can never truly guarantee that I'm going to hit it. So my team will never be the best team. You're never, or the likelihood of you facing the best version of me is slim. And let's say for like say these tier 5 stage 3s, good luck half the time trying to find them. If you went out and you bought, like we see here at the top sales during this week in Illuvium, some of these people that are getting those big like high TPI seers or even the high TPI dual Fs or whatever, paying hundreds of dollars for these alluvials. They should be able to use their alluvials, but half the time because of RNG, they can't. No, you've bought these. You should be able to use them. They're your alluvials. My fourth issue here is that there's nothing that you can technically work on every day unless you assign your own goals, make up your own goals along the way. What terrified me a long time ago, and I feel like the mindset still kind of exists, is that somebody had said that leveling your alluvials is the end game. That should never be the case. What are we leveling up alluvials for in the first place here? And the answer is like, oh yeah, you're leveling them up for tournaments. What tournaments? Other than the Lamborghini one that we're having here because of the Lamborghini special with Motorverse Cup. With the past couple of months going completely silent, do we expect anything to change? I'd love for it to change. I want it to change and see more stuff so it's not strictly run off of my community events to keep the tournament scene alive. But we've not seen it from Illuvium since the Pro League. Like, there's no battle pass. There's no daily goals. There is no way to drip feed fuel to players through gameplay, which in a free-to-play style game is basically game design 101 for free-to-play. A little bit of fuel for completing a couple of goals for every single day, every single week, so that if they wanted to go into like an auto drone run and get their Illuvials that way, they could. However, one thing that makes this difficult, issue 5, is that the auto drone run, the buying of Illuvials or anything like that, it's not actually in the game itself. So you have to go to a website, tinker around with that, and you have to get the auto drone runs that way. Just imagine if the auto drone run was directly there in the gameplay, in the main menu, and being able to just buy with your fuel that way, like we do with our XP boosts. You'd be getting the auto drone runs, the fact that you can get Illuvials and buy Illuvials. There's people that might download, like, this sounds stupid because we're so used to it, but there's people who might try this game out for the first time. Download Illuvium Arena, hop on in, get killed over and over again. If they get lucky, they'll figure out that alluvial ownership is a thing. And if they're going to look, okay, well then how do I get Illuvials? They're looking in the game, they're looking in the shop, there's nothing. Even if you're paying, I get the player-to-player stuff being on a website, but there is no reason to me why the auto drone cannot be implemented in the game itself. It would be such a big deal for getting eyes on the fact that it's a possibility in the first place, and maybe score a few additional sales there because of it. And then G-Hamster here as well, the fact that we can't fuse right now. Yeah, this universe is a creature capture universe. This isn't arena specific. This is just an Illuvium as a whole thing right now. But I think it was incredibly stupid that in a creature capture game right now, we cannot go out and catch our own creatures. We can raise our Illuvials through the arena. Oh, I hit level 20, I want to evolve. You can't. You're stuck with that thing. And it's so brutal. And I get that the ZK EVM migration probably threw things for a loop, but these are core game mechanics in a creature capture genre that are just straight up missing. If we can't go into Overworld to catch Illuvials, and we can't go into Overworld to fuse and evolve our Illuvials, there should have at least been some sort of browser alternative. The argument is that we're waiting for the MMO. I'm also waiting to figure out what staking V3 is. Remember, that was supposed to be a thing where people actually invested money into something that's called shards, which right now we still don't know actually has any sort of use because we're really trying to manipulate the marketplace and hit a really, really specific timing. Otherwise, the value of the shards could be compromised, even though you've expressed that you know what the shards are for. Are we also waiting for training gyms in Illuvium 0 to combat the lack of leveling and the hard time we have of leveling and giving some additional value to the Illuvium 0 plot holders? But the thing is those experience boosts also are a fuel expense. So what's the problem? Where's the training gyms? Is all of a sudden the fact that that take away from your XP boost revenue? So you don't want to give it to the 0 players, even though this has been promised for over a year at this point? Or potentially maybe even the Sanctum Mesa requests, the building, the factory, or anything along those lines where we can actually use our blueprints that went down because we can't go into Overworld anymore and we can't make our own skins like the original purpose was anymore. Or even if I do create my own skins, like my beloved Link skins that I love super, super dearly and use over and over again, but I literally cannot go into the goddamn game and click on my Link skins because, God forbid, for whatever reason, the Link stuff never works. Is that what we're also waiting on? You can see there's a lot to be frustrated about. And I'm a veteran, not even a newcomer. We're waiting on the MMO. You can see why I don't necessarily fall for that anymore, because we're waiting on everything so often and we're not getting anything and just being left in the dark. Illuvium, when I first joined, all the way up until, say, December of last year, I think the biggest W that Illuvium had over lots of gaming, not just Web3, but especially Web3, because let's be honest, all you pixelated pieces of shit there are just like spamming these graphic games, putting in a slight a slight little game loop, throwing a token on it and calling it a game, calling it earning. Well, guess what? These stupid games are definitely bringing all of us down. And Illuvium had the biggest W because of the transparency. Everything that was in regards to burning, in terms of their expenses, in terms of where the game was going. It was transparent. It was there. It took a little bit, but we got it. I don't know what happened since December, but it fell off a cliff. We have all this stuff in a roadmap. We have a week of town hall stuff. Other than Illuvium Beyond with the partnership, what have we got? But I could tell you everything that we lost. Losing Overworld. Losing the ability to catch our own creatures, losing the way to power level our creatures through Overworld. And that's just it. Again, I am not trying to flame any developers, but as a fan that's not heavily invested in regards to finances, but heavily invested emotionally into where this game goes, it just feels so bad. And it feels worse because we were really, really close to actually getting some new things that we were looking forward to and finishing some core products, or some core games rather. And they got completely reversed on. And again, as soon as the Illuvium Pro League ended, my 6th issue, where are the events? I'm not talking about Illuvium Pro League Season 2. I personally do not believe that Illuvium Pro League can come back in the same extent that Season 1 did ever again. And you know what? I don't want it to, because the entire concept behind Illuvium Pro League was fucking stupid, because it was done in the free-to-play model, so the players that actually came in the first place didn't actually go out and catch their creatures, had no investment to the actual environment itself, and then once the game was done, when the game turned into Leviathan, where your ownership actually mattered, well, guess what? They didn't have any of their own Illuvials. Your top players came in, did a nice little extraction job, took all that prize money away from us veterans, the people actually gave a about the game, and they went to go back to TFT and whatever else game they were playing at the time. They had no reason to stay. I never want to see Illuvium Pro League come back the way it was before. All that prize money that could have been used to split up throughout the year. Quarterly mini majors. You can cut the prize pool in half. What was it? It was like $150,000 or something along those lines for the entire season. Cut that into a quarter, split that amongst 4 quarterly events, and I guarantee you that's still actually an above average esports payout. There was just so much wrong there, and now because of this, I feel like Illuvium is terrified to actually run their own events anymore, because they have to have the high bar that Illuvium Pro League set, otherwise they're going to get ridiculed. And they just see, like, the return on investment obviously wasn't there, because all these people came in, scooped up the prize money, and they weren't invested, like I was saying, they weren't invested into the universe. They came in, showed off their skills, and took the money. They didn't even have any of their own Illuvials, or if they did, they had very, very few. Only now are a few dedicated like pro players that we're kind of seeing come back around. Heck, we've seen a few of them even come out through House League a little bit, and I'm happy they're back. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I'm happy and welcoming to see you here. But what about Illuvium would make you come back come for the tournament, completely disappear once the tournament's done, but then only come back in for a tournament? You're in it for the money. And that's the only way that you can play Arena right now, is because you have to be in it for the money, because the core game mechanics are just straight up missing to feel otherwise. Issue 7. I stress this again. This is not meant to be a personal attack on anybody. I am going just strictly off of my observation as somebody who plays the Arena and watches the Arena and sees the stats like every single day, checks match histories, and heck, I'm a part of certain streams where people will straight up admit it. Of the developers, the staff members, council members, why does nobody play the game that you are working on, you're a board member on? You would think you'd want the best for the game. I don't get it. Like, I was baffled for the longest time. I think I mentioned this in a prior stream. Like, Kieran would always make points saying that they played Arena like every other night for a little while kind of thing. And then on the Lamborghini stream, they just drops that, oh yeah, I haven't played for like a month or a couple months. He hasn't played. People that I believe are supposed to be streaming and commentating important versions of this game haven't played the game. People that used to be the face, or are still, well, technically by the numbers, are still technically the face of Illuvium as a content creator, haven't played the game in ages. Council members that are supposed to help direct the health of the game and make decisions haven't played the game. From what it feels like, rather than make a game good, are we just trying to get a quick fix on something that'll spike extremely well so that we can pump that ILV token and then you can get the F out? That's the vibe I get, even if your intentions are the complete opposite. That's the feeling the community gets when Slashin has been able to get people could have the hub open on another monitor, grab Slashin and Malura, and just AFK for the rest of the game because they could 3-tap Lottos. How do we get balance in its current state unless people have actually been playing the game? How do we have core mechanics, a tutorial, the fact that like certain stuff that should in theory be making you money, the auto drones, buying stuff, cannot be done in the game? And there is one thing, again, I know. A lot of these people are kind of spread a little bit thin here. So why do we have a developer, like say, for the case of the Arena and Deathmatch, why are they stuck trying to build 2 games at the same time? And the fact that development is halted here for Illuvium Arena, so y'all can take a crack at your damn slot machine of a deathmatch game, screams heavily that you just don't care and you're looking for the quick buck. I want to be wrong. I desperately want to be wrong here. But this just feels so bad. Nobody in a place of power cares about Arena. And I kind of touched on my final issue. There's still no tutorial. People can come join this game and again not realize that alluvial ownership is actually a thing. And then once they discover that it is, because it was never brought to their attention, it feels like the game snuck pay-to-win mechanics on them. And a majority of players, I think you probably lose them at that point. So that was a lot of negative. And I want to again preface this with the fact that this is coming from a place of care. I want to see Illuvium Arena. I want to see every Illuvium title succeed on its own to make an absolute blockbuster of a universe. Because here's the thing. We can have a universe of games, but if each individual game is just a minimal viable product, well, you're going to get minimal viable attention and you're going to be dead in a year. So let's change this, please. I have high hopes, but we need to stop doing 7 different goddamn products at the same time. Can we not necessarily finish? Because with a handful of these games, it's going to take extended development even after release. But what I'm going to go for, how I would fix this, and how I would finish development. Where I would get Illuvium Arena to the point where I can then put it into maintenance mode, doing just strictly balance updates, and then updates to the game in regards to when new Illuvials come around, where that is the only thing you have to worry about. And I'm going to talk about this because there is precedent in other titles. So how I would fix this. And again, chat, of course, this is all being recorded live here. I've got the chat over in the left-hand corner. By all means, if you think I'm crazy or if you have any additional input, would absolutely love to hear it. So first off, what I would end up doing is about the leveling process. First and foremost, all those free Illuvials that you get when first downloading the game, where you've strictly only downloaded Arena and you have all the level 1s with 0 stats. I would make it so that those Illuvials can be leveled and they'll always stay at 0 TPI and preferably stay off chain. If that is not possible, I would still let them on chain as level 1s that can be leveled all the way up to 60, 100, whatever the prestige levels happen to be now. I would let that happen and they'd just all be 0 bonus stats. But the bots, every single time this got brought up, the devs would always be something along, oh, we're worried about bots, we're worried about bots. Well, this next part is also going to piss you off then, because I'd let you level up in casual at a much reduced rate. If you're playing in the ranked and you're putting like your ranking on the line, you should get more experience. But to those that are very nervous about starting out, I would let them play the bots in casual and level up. But the bots, people are just going to run amok with all these level 60s. Here's the thing. Who is that hurting? Having an avenue for newcomers to level somebody up with no bonus stats from 1 to 60, so they're at least getting a little bit of progression, a little bit of additional strength. Who is that hurting if somebody is just spamming casual games? And let's just say, worst case scenario, they have to stay on chain and you're worried about bots. What can the bot do? What's worse they could do? Farm up level 60s and then somebody could then go through them on the Illuvidex? Here's the thing. Who in their right mind is going to buy a level 60 0 TPI? Nobody who has any sort of understanding of the game would actually put their money towards a 0 TPI Illuvial. But the bots, what if they then go into ranked? Bots have a hard time with ranked as is. I would be very surprised if they would be able to actually perform in the arena. Can't see a world where the bots are just going to try and flood ranked leaderboards. Even if they have all level 60s, they're going to eventually run into veterans. They might get into the top 100 while we still have less than 100 players, but I can't see them staying there for very long. I'd rather take bot activity than no activity. G-Hamster, you have it exactly right there. I would rather be flooded with bots if it means that I'm opening the door for a welcoming newcomer experience who might then get invested into the Illuvium universe, see their Illuvials, and then eventually learn like what the bonus stats are, to maybe where they then see auto drone in the menu and then maybe want to grab some for themselves. Especially if these Illuvials only stay to arena, they might like the idea that these arena Illuvials that they're getting could then be used in the MMO later. I know that's my big thing. I do enjoy the arena heavily, but the big reason why I'm leveling all my squad up right now, I'm not competing in the Lamborghini tournament. I'm likely casting if I'm not getting canceled because of this video. But the main reason why I'm leveling them is so I can have my Seaforest by my side when I go to take down a raid boss later on in the MMO. Have my Adorito help me heal. I'm power leveling not for the arena. I want for the MMO. And there's a lot of people that love that kind of connectivity. So let them level their Illuvials. Let them get interested. Let them get hooked. Because it'll tie in with what I'd want for the gameplay loop here. Even if we do not have a battle pass, at the minimum, I would love to have daily quests return. And maybe weekly quests return. That can give fuel in very small increments to the players playing the game, which for, say, this kind of stalemate where we're at right now, where we're waiting on the MMO, would make getting Illuvials through the auto drone actually have a playable loop through the arena. Let's get those daily goals, and let's say like maybe after 3 days of completing every single daily goal, you would be able to do an auto drone run. Let's say I'm a newcomer, I have a bunch of level 1s, but I save up enough fuel, I get my first auto drone run. If I hit a stage 2, I have my first level 20. If I have the luck to hit a stage 3, I have my first level 40. Those moments right there, that changes somebody from just being, oh, I'm just kind of playing the game, to, oh my god, that's mine. How can I build a team around this guy? He's so strong, he's level 40. He blows the rest of my team out of the water. I want to build a team around this. Or I want to do this again, but I have that urge to do it again before next week or before the next day. How much is it for a run? It's basically $1. Okay, I'm willing to spend that. If, let's say, eventually the MMO does somehow come out, they can realize, wait a second, these Illuvials that, first off, I have in the arena right now, I could bring into the MMO, but also these Illuvials I'm catching in the MMO, I could eventually bring into the arena? That's extremely exciting. People love that idea, at least in my opinion. But the idea behind this, the daily quests to give the fuel, is this way you have a way to get Illuvials just in arena by itself. That needs to be a thing, and we're not giving away huge bits. Like, I'd still say, like, say the Hyper Auto Drone run, that is a premium option. But you can give the player the choice to save up their fuel for a long period of time to eventually go for that extremely premium option. That's definitely possible, and that's, again, gotcha game 101 right there, right? Like, I think back to my time playing Rise of Kingdoms. If there was a certain commander that I was trying to roll for, I would save up my gems for months, if not years, to build up enough premium currency so when that character showed up, I could take the risk and try to get them. So similar nature here. If I wanted to save up for an auto drone run, I might be saving my fuel for weeks or not months, but I am getting the possibility at finding maybe some of these harder to find evolutions based off of the Hyper Auto Drone run. Would I recommend people do that? No, because it seems like charge runs are basically just as successful at finding fighting fit Illuvials. But it's an option, and you can give the player some agency, some control in that choice. Not just, hey, thank you for downloading the game. You have to buy these Illuvials, otherwise you're technically not allowed in the yacht club. But there is, of course, another issue. Even if you do buy Illuvials right now, you can't even use them half the time. But again, like, you can go out of your way, even if you've bought a very, very pricey and very strong Illuvial, there's no saying that you can actually truly use it. So your time in the arena just feels terrible. A big mistake that Illuvium unfortunately made was turning Illuvium into a teamfight tactics clone, which of course included the shop, the rolling kind of mechanics. Trying to beat TFT at TFT didn't work. Just frankly, it didn't work. But what we could have had, and what we can still have, I believe, is nowhere to be seen in auto battlers or in the creature capture genre, period. So what I would do, first off, whoever thought it was a great idea to make Gauntlet one-on-one and call it Ascendant, which is a beloved game mode by the veterans of the community, congratulations, you shot off your own foot and you pissed everybody else off in the process. Nobody wanted Gauntlet Light. We want to play, again, with our Illuvials. We want to make a team and go into the battlefield against somebody who also has their own team. I want to face the best version of my opponent. I want to give the best version of me to that opponent, round in, round out. I want to be able to level my little baby Illuvial when I see fit. I want to be able to hit my stage 3s every single game, as long as I have the build order necessary to make it happen. And then calling it Ascendant was such a fucking slap in the face. Like, that was ridiculous. So what I would do, first and foremost, let's get the real Ascendant back. I don't care if it's flowcharty. I don't care if one team dominates. If one team dominates, balance your game. That is it. I want to bring the same team over and over again, because that's my team. Issue right now why I don't spend. I don't want to spend on a Sinalf or on a Dualef because I can never hit it in the game. And I'm somebody who pushes level 10 and takes a beating consistently. So it's even more painful when people, like I see on JB's stream for all the time, he's trying to roll for that Rip Lance that he just picked up. He's trying to roll for that Axodon that's his absolute beloved. Nobody else is contesting him for it. He still cannot get it. Why is that the case? So Ascendant one-on-one, I want to come back in the traditional sense where you build your own team and bring it in. What I also want badly, that no other auto battler and no other creature capturing / battling genre has. Let's keep Gauntlet as an 8 player free for all. Everybody brings their deck. get a little bit of credits every single round. You can have your build order. And then, yes, if everybody is playing the exact same deck, one, you better get good at playing against the mirror matches. Number two, balance your damn game. Let there be diversity here. Let people bring their own decks. Keep the format similar in the sense where every single round you're playing somebody different. Just a rotating free-for-all. But let me bring my team. You can still do things like leveling your ranger or whatnot as well. Like, there can still be a system. Like, I've literally brainstormed this thing already. I just imagine, like, say we have credits and whatnot. You have a maximum of credits for each level. Similar to what we saw before, you can play your stage 1, stage 2, stage 3s. Similar to what we used to do in Old Ascendant. Level your ranger up. And then regards to augments, put those behind the credit wall as well. So you have to decide, am I putting an Illuvial on the field? Am I leveling my ranger? Or am I putting an augment onto one of my creatures? And you know what? If you want to go random with it, make like the credit roll like somewhat cheap, and then you can just randomly roll for a augment. But what I'd honestly prefer, let me choose the items. Let me build my exact build. And if certain augments aren't being used, well, say it one more time for all the people in the back, balance your damn game. Let's make a game where we're fighting each other at our best of the best scenarios every single game, instead of making a game where I guess I kind of got half of the team that I wanted and I don't have any of the augments I wanted, and it wasn't the team that I wanted, but I mean I got a second. I mean it's not a fifth, right? So I didn't lose 46 points for getting 6 or for fifth or something along those lines. I guess I can try and get the team that I actually paid for and want to play next time. 8-player free-for-all Ascendant. Ascendant could still be the speedy mode. If mobile is basically just as much as a unicorn as Illuvium 0 training gyms and staking the 3 shards at this point. But if mobile were to come out and you need a speedy mode, do the 1v1. And then 8-player free-for-all could be the absolute premium. But because they both play with your own Illuvials and it's an exciting concept, this can open the door for community members like myself to say, hey, I'm going to host a team in 1v1 mode this week. Hey, I'm going to host a tournament in 8-player free-for-all this week. You can have multiple formats be competitive. You love the angry Sylen. I mean, it doesn't come out very often, and you just haven't even seen me truly angry yet. Let's hope you never have to. So I was saying that we've seen something like this technically already work, right? Illuvium heavily inspired by Pokemon, the name brand game in regards to creature capturing and battling. For the longest time, Pokemon had this issue where Pokemon basically their entire game plan, putting out a very mediocre as hell story game that only lets you play maybe 1, 2 to 4 players to some of these later ones to go like do your thing, take on these extremely mediocre raids that then also just have turn-based I click button, go attack for me please kind of style of gameplay. And then if you wanted to play competitive Pokemon, you'd have to get the new title every single time a new mediocre story game came out, and then play that competitive format, which most of the time was just completely busted anyway. This is coming from somebody who is a fan, though, of Pokemon VGC. But look what Pokemon just recently did. So they've made it so now, if you want to play competitive Pokemon, you play Pokemon Champions, a dedicated, standalone competitive fighting title. You don't have to touch the story mode games if you do not want. But if you do, it's going to help you catch the Pokemon you might need for your team in the competitive. In Champions, you can get Pokemon right in Champions every day. Just once a day, you get a free Pokemon. That is tournament ready, if you really wanted it to be. You can tweak the stats to be completely tournament ready, completely optimized. But if you wanted to go to that free-to-play route and grab that Pokemon and go into a tournament, you could. Illuvium has done this in reverse. We have the competitive title already. We have Arena. And to be honest, Arena's almost done. There's not much that needs to be added here. We just need, again, daily quests so that we can run the auto drone once or twice a week. And we would match the style of Pokemon Champions. In fact, even better because you're getting 8 Illuvials on auto drone runs. I'd argue if Illuvium had a flushed out title, every Pokemon player, which there are many of, because I'm one of them, by the way, that is pissed off at Pokemon not adapting to the times with mediocre, lame battle styles, story modes. There's a lot of people that are fed up with what Pokemon's doing, but there's not really that huge of alternative. The fact, like, let's say, if I took Pokemon and I can make it all of a sudden, 10 of my Pokemon are battling another 10 Pokemon all at the same time, I would arrive. My obelisk would be rising. We already have that with Illuvium, but we just need to get our own Illuvials through Arena by itself, especially right now when Overworld and the MMO are offline. Let's make it again so that Gauntlet, Ascendant, both game modes are bring your own team, no randomness. Let me fight you at your best. Let me fight you at my best. That would be all I need in regards to like core features. And let me level these free Illuvials. Because you're not going to like the other alternative. There are no levels in Pokemon Champions. It's just the Pokemon as is, as if they were level 100. Oh, how y'all would cry if I said that we should never have any levels, period, just TPI. That would be a little bit frustrating now, wouldn't it? I don't want to go that route. So let's let newcomers level their Illuvials even if they're free. Because here's the thing. I respect all of those that put in the work to level up their Illuvials early, that bought their Illuvials early, that have these incredible collections that have probably a pretty good value. But the problem is, you might be the king right now, and I've said this before, but if you're the king of a dead kingdom, who the hell cares? And for at least me personally, I'm one of these people that may not have thousands of dollars worth of, well, I probably do now. I'd be one of these people hurt, just not to the same extent as some. But if it meant having a clean onboarding path, I would take features that take away some of these bonus stats. But I'd rather not. I would love for all the time that I, as well as all these other Illuvial Rangers, have put into the game, not be for waste. But I don't want us to be kings of a dead kingdom. If it meant bringing on people steadily, I'd do it. The way that I picture this in my head, get Arena to the point where newcomers can actually feel welcome. Get their own Illuvials, level them up. Let's make it so, again, that we can bring our deck, bring our own Illuvials in time and time again. We can get that game, we get that, plus just add the auto drone directly into the game. Get to that, and honestly, you could probably put Arena in maintenance mode. Focus everything on everything else. But the thing is, it would be just like what I imagine is going to happen to Pokemon. Champions is going to be up and running, and now it's probably going to be left alone for a little while. They're going to focus on Wind and Waves or whatever their next story-based title is. And when new Pokemon show up into that game, that then translates eventually into new Pokemon showing up into Champions. That, in a sense, is Champions getting an update. I think Kieran's even already mentioned the idea that once the next wave, which I know Set 2 is basically a unicorn as well, but if new Illuvials come on in, maybe there'll be a point where every single Illuvial isn't allowed to play in every single format. And that's a format that I know works because we have precedent in Pokemon. Every once in a while, there's regulation changes where certain Illuvials from certain areas or certain ones just might straight up not be allowed. And it's just for like a season, and every once in a while it then switches up again. It's like a monthly thing, like the regulations change. That can work in Illuvium. That can be done to keep things interesting. But what doesn't change is like any of the programming or any of the development actually in the game itself. It's just enable, disable. I feel like that's all we need for a situation like that for multiple Illuvials. Get Arena to this flushed out state. Get the MMO in progress. And then, for the love of God, it would be nice if it was some time before the MMO. But one thing that Pokemon Champions it didn't release with, but will be coming out with, is a mobile version. So how I would have done this, I don't know why we strayed from it. If Arena was flushed out, where we had like the things I was mentioning before, and it got a mobile release, that standalone could be enough to spark player base interest back into the game. While the arena is active, or when it's in its opening couple weeks, mention that, hey, the Illuvials that you get from this game, you could bring them to the MMO too. Cross it over, so when the MMO releases, there's already a player base active and excited for the MMO. And with that, they're going to be in the same boat that I am. I'm not just leveling up for leaderboards. I'm not just leveling up for arena tournaments. I'm leveling up to have a partner with me in the MMO. Then the MMO comes out, and again, we're not doing any development for arena anymore. It's just the MMO, a couple regulation changes for the arena here and there, maybe every month or so, just to keep things spicy. Balance patches when necessary. And anytime the MMO gets an update, then those new Illuvials or what have you, that becomes Arena's update too. And then this way as well, if Illuvium were to then host a dedicated arena tournament, it becomes a whole universe celebration. But for the fact that, yes, this tournament is happening, we're going to celebrate this in the arena, which means I need to level up my guys. Well, the quickest way to level them up is probably to go into the MMO. Oh, I don't have tournament ready team yet. I'm going to play a bunch of the MMO because I want to be ready for this tournament. And I haven't even brought in Illuvium 0, but I imagine once the MMO is out, that there can be support for it. Or maybe I'm one of those players that want to be like a competitive and level up my Illuvials, but I just don't have the time to play either arena or the MMO. Can we please get the damn training gyms in there? And then with the MMO then being up, people also getting Illuvials through the arena, you could also then send them to the underground dungeon of cockfighting, which is, of course, Illuvium Deathmatch. It comes full circle, and it can start with arena. And that's the main point that I want to bring about this. That's why I'm so damn adamant that developers, please don't forget about this game. Because arena is your competition, your celebration, is your outlet for esports. It's probably what's going to get the most amount of attention outside of a new zone release or something for an MMO. And you can get it consistently. It's how you build a community. And even if Illuvium themselves doesn't want to throw on weekly tournaments, if Illuvium themselves don't want to do monthlies, they just maybe want to do every half year or maybe every once a year tournament. I don't know. There's some idiots out there that'll take up the mantle themselves and run their own events just because they love the game. Just make sure you support them. Yeah, again, I just beg. Let's finish Arena. Reworking things into an 8-player free-for-all in a team planning style, I imagine would take a little bit of time. However, I imagine that we have the data, or we have the code or whatever, from traditional Ascendant. You have done it before. Real Ascendant. Take that into an 8-player setting. Get that. Let me get Illuvials just through the arena. Let me level these Illuvials when I just make an account and not feel like I'm signing up for an exclusive yacht club when I only have a wood canoe. Let me make sure that the Illuvials that I do own, I can use every single battle if I wanted to. If I'm not diversifying, that's my choice. If you don't want to make a battle pass, just give me daily goals for those drip-fed fuel for the auto drone run. I'm new here and I've been playing Arena casually. I have some friends who could join for free. Do you think it's a good time to encourage and get them to play right now? It kind of depends. Because if they're going to be free to play right now, as it stands free to play right now, if yous are okay getting together, queuing up for a casual by yourself, completely free to play, then this game still is fun. But would I want to send off your friends the ranked experience with free-to-play Illuvials that never level up against killers like the rest of our community and myself? No. Like, I would have a very, very hard time, even with my wife. My wife tried ranked once or twice. She hasn't asked to play again since. So it's a scenario where unless you've spent money right off the rip, ranked isn't worth it for you. Just play casual. What I can also recommend if they're free to play players. I hate it because at the same time it's kind of plugging my own event. But with House League, for example, if you just want to play casual throughout the week and then try to play in House League, where I can specifically put all of you together in an even power kind of style, then that's worth doing. It's like on one hand, yes, I'd love to have them come on through and come play, but I cannot with full honesty say that this is a fun game for a free-to-play player right now. Not a chance. Again, any of the comments that I've talked about throughout this stream, it's only because I care. I want to see this game succeed. I don't like what Pokemon is doing. I love the idea that Illuvium has going, but I need them to start listening to the community here. And I need them to finish a project. I don't want a million little things. I just want something that's good. Going for minimal viable products over and over and over and over and over again is just pissing everybody off. We were so close to being finished with Illuvium Arena. Can we please finish it? Get the features added in that I said, which again shouldn't take much development time because it's stuff that's already made. The 8-player free-for-all as a team builder is the only thing that might take a little bit of time. I want this universe, I want this to succeed, I want everybody working on it to succeed. But I have a hard time right now being happy when not even the people working on the game play the game. How am I supposed to trust your future plans when things are left unfinished? How am I supposed to trust your future plans when a company that's been so transparent about everything that they're working on all of a sudden hasn't delivered on many of the promises in multiple town halls, in multiple roadmaps, staking V3 shards, training gyms in Illuvium Zero, any actual functionality update with Illuvium Zero, Sanctum Mesa rewards, what's been happening with that? The only thing we have is a place that we can throw away those Illuvials that we worked hard to get. Cool. We have a place that we can kill them now for the gamble gods. It's been a slap in the face over the last couple of months. It's been a slap in the face since December, since Illuvium Pro League finished. And if you want to call Illuvium Arena a failure, a money sink, and should not be prioritized because it didn't perform as a minimal viable product, how about we finish it before we actually make that judgment? If not mobile, let's finish at least the PC version. Let's see if I'm actually full of... I'm not going to say that I know everything. And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, because again, I'm not a developer. These last couple of months have been so tough as a player. I'm not even going to talk about the content creation side of things. I'm doing my best. And thankfully, somehow I'm still sick enough in the head where I still want to do way more, that I've barely scratched the surface. And to the point where I'm even running tournaments and weekly events because yous don't. They have this opportunity here where Arena, again, could be finished. Time it with the MMO, like within short period, so both games get hype. The competitive outlet is already known about, it's supported. The casual or the MMO outlet, which again, if I throw it back to Pokemon, how many years have people been begging for a Pokemon MMO, and the only thing we get are these piece of third-party scam websites making Pokemon MMO? It seems like there's actually an audience for this there for a creature catcher MMO. So, have the competitive that can link with our MMO in a time where people could not be more pissed off at Pokemon. We have such a good opportunity here. But just because they've done an extremely goddamn stupid format for an Illuvium Pro League, now that sunken cost makes everybody think it's a goddamn failure, even though the game has never truly had a chance to shine. We still have the opportunity. We still have plenty of time. Illuvium, please, again, love you all. You have made it a fantastic game even as it stands already. But it could definitely be better to welcoming more people in. I look forward to your projects, some more than others. I would love to talk about the direction of the game. I would love to help as a community voice to get this game to a place to play. But I do not want to be a council member, because once I'm a council member, my entire being changes from somebody who's doing something because they love it to somebody who's working and is invested and like needs to see this for financial gain. I am giving you the opportunity to work with somebody who genuinely is of the mindset that they strictly just want this game to be good, this universe to be good, exciting, welcoming. I don't give a shit about the Web3 side of things. If all of the ILV tokens went to zero, I still don't care. Is the game good? I don't care about ILV tokens. I don't care about crypto coins. I don't care about the value of my Illuvials. I care about what this game can give value-wise to the players. Let me help you, please. For the sake of all of us, it'd mean the world to me.